Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. It's Friday evening in London and it's absolutely boiling. 86 at nearly 6 o'clock in the evening. So stuffy. There is a little bit of a breeze, but honestly, I don't want to complain about good weather, but this is a bit too much. However, I do have exciting things to show you. Well, I think they're exciting. You know me, I love all my luxury makeup and I love fragrance, but most of all, I love nail polish and I love Chanel nail polish. I collect. Sad to say, I also collect Hermes nail polish now, which is another even more expensive addiction. But I was overjoyed to read about 6 new Chanel polishes, all dropped at the same time. That's quite a lot, unusual really. I think it's been a couple of years since they've released that many that aren't repromotes in one go. Of course, there was the usual mystery about when they would be available here in the UK. And I think actually, to be fair, in other countries, the distribution's been a bit patchy. I was told that they would be in certainly the boutiques the end of August, beginning of September, and kind of believe that. One of my lovely subscribers on Instagram tipped me the wink that the 3 coral pink ones were on a French website that we use called My Origine. And so I ordered those and they were delivered a couple of weeks ago. And I felt pleased with myself for getting those. But it was really the other 3 that I was particularly interested in because they're slightly more unusual colours, particularly these 2 for Chanel. And then without warning, again, my lovely subscriber told me, although I do haunt the Chanel online website, well, of course, online, it's a website, and I'd missed them all going live a couple of days ago. So I immediately ordered the other 3. I haven't actually double checked today or even yesterday if they're still all available. I think it may be that this one isn't already. I'm not surprised that that's the most popular, although white is also popular these days. So anyway, I feel really lucky to have got all 6. You know me, I like to show and compare with what I've already got in my collection, which is, I'm afraid, quite a big collection now. I literally have certainly more than 100, several hundreds of Chanel nail polishes. Most of them carry numbers and they're largely sequential. So if you've got numbers in the 1-200s, those are generally much older polishes, although they do sometimes re-release. And there are a few anomalies where they don't give a number. Hasn't happened for a while, I don't think, but they just give a name. Anyway, these are all numbered and they're all new colours. But of course, I tend to think, there's nothing new under the sun. One of the really baffling things with collecting nail polish, people say, well, how can you need so many? You're never going to wear them all, and so many of them are so similar to each other. Particularly with Chanel, they release an awful lot of red nail polishes. It's very much a signature colour. But honestly, no 2 are ever exactly the same, although some are pretty close. And then some are much more unusual colours. So, as I say, I was most excited about this end range. You can see here I'm wearing this one, which is CC Green. All of these are straight creams. I mean by that they don't have any glitter, they don't have any chrome, they don't have any micro shimmer. It's a micro shimmer in particular, which I think Chanel does so well. It often just shows really as a sort of extra shine on the nails. And I wonder if they're doing it less, because I've noticed it's been less obvious in the last couple of years' releases, because now they have the kind of gel top coats. That in itself gives them a much greater shine to otherwise quite flat colours. But I think it's a shame they're not doing the different, what I term textures, finishes, because I think that's where Chanel, rather than the straight shades, really excels and stands out from a lot of other good, really good nail polish ranges. But this one, what should we say it is? It's not really mint. It's almost a kind of green tinted white to me. A nice kind of light pistachio colour. It does make me, this whole range here, well, all of them really make me think a little of those Neapolitan ice creams with the kind of pastel shades. And this one in particular is a beautiful kind of pistachio. I bunged it on my nails not very evenly, and it's been on for a few days now. It's lasting okay, starting to chip on my other hand. I have been doing a lot of relatively manual work. There isn't really anything in my collection that is like CC Green. Interestingly, some of the very pale blues, whilst they're very clearly blues, are almost the closest. So put these two together, you can see this is much less opaque, and it does have, I don't know if you can see that, the micro shimmer. This is a really old one because you can see number 1, 2, 3, crystal blue, which is why it's a bit liquidy. This is many years old. That's a bit similar to me. Slightly more, well, a lot more recently is, what is this one? Blue Pastel. I think this is in the 500s. Again, it's a blue, and you can see that slightly more clearly rather than a green, but a very kind of pastel-y shade. And another one, again with a terrific micro shimmer, is the beautiful Arriva. They do look different. I suspect they would look quite similar on the nails possibly, but this new one's going to be much more opaque. What I initially thought of before I actually received the colour and was able to compare them was what I regarded as a light green up till now, Fresher 767. Again, this has a micro shimmer, but it's it's quite a bit deeper, I think you can see. And not really like it at all, but I like to show off a fairly famous one called Jade. This was one of those shades that was really difficult to get, sold out in super quick time. People paid enormous prices for it. It was so trendy at the time. That's Jade. You can see, obviously, a lot greener, micro shimmer, 407 Jade. So nothing really exactly the same, or even that similar. I'm really looking forward to wearing this one, which is Moonshell. Such a pretty light lilac, which I love. I think it's more of a spring shade perhaps than a summer shade, but I'm still looking forward to wearing it. Again, I haven't really got many lilacs. I thought one called Tenderly, which I haven't actually pulled out, but that's a much, much duskier shade. The nearest I have is another oldie and goodie, Lilac Sky 210, but again has the micro shimmer. You see how often they did that in the past. It's not happening now. But they're quite similar. This has got a bit more blue in it. It's got a bit more pink. I haven't worn Lilac Sky for a long time. Pretty shade. And then we came on to what I was sure I'd have more ones that were similar to, the kind of orange corals. The first of these is a kind of, I would call it an apricot really, and this is called Pastel Sand. I'm a bit wary of what this one will look like on the nails because it immediately reminded me of one of my favourite range of 3, which I think was either 2010 or 2012. They did 3 polishes called April, May and June. April in particular, but also May, really, really pretty. June, obviously, I got, and pretty in the bottle, but actually it's a lot more yellowy, isn't it? So perhaps I'm worrying needlessly. This is a really unflattering shade for my skin tone. Doesn't look good. I keep it as part of the collection, but not great. Then a few years ago, Coquillage, quite similar. Again, a bit more yellow, and you can see the micro shimmer in Coquillage, which isn't there in this plain cream. And then Biarritz. This suggests it's an old one because it's 210, but I think this was a re-release. That's quite similar in shade, but again, there's a bit of micro shimmer, so not exactly the same. Then a more orange coral, which tend to suit me far better. One of my all-time favourite shades, which is much more red-orange even than this, is called Holiday, which I absolutely love in the summer, particularly on the toes, and it's very flattering. This is Cap Corée. And again, actually, surprisingly, I didn't have anything that similar. Here's another famous one, part of a series that I only got relatively recently, although it's an old one, LA Sunset. They're very similar. I think you can see there. But I didn't have anything else that was exactly the same. This is a very pretty one called Miami Peach. Similar tone, but you can really see the micro shimmer there. It's not the bit that's like the reflection in the bottle. It's the kind of goldy bit that looks so pretty as a shine on the nail. So Miami Peach, a bit similar, if you've got that. I think there may be others more recent, but I didn't have time to root very deeply in my coral drawers, as it were. And then finally, this one is a kind of corally pink, a more pinky coral. This is Rose Coquillage. I think this is going to be very pretty for the summer, especially if you've got a tan. So looking forward to wearing that. And I picked out a relatively recent one. I think this was last year or maybe the year before. I lose track. Sea Whip. Bit lighter. Looks quite a lot lighter, actually, doesn't it? But similar range. If you've got that, you probably don't need this one. And then finally, white. White has been very trendy for a couple of years now, and I think it can look very nice, but it's really difficult to do a good white, and I'm not sure Chanel have ever completely nailed it for me. I've had quite a few over the years that haven't had sufficient opacity, been really tricky to apply. I have got this one, which I don't think I've actually worn. I got last year. I didn't get it when it was released. For some reason, it was sold out, and I got it on a resale site. I've actually kept it in the cardboard box, which I don't normally do. I get rid of the cardboard boxes simply because it's a dual toned box, which is unusual for Chanel, and it's a white cap instead of the black. I think they did a black and a white, and this was pure white. I don't think I've actually worn it, so it'd be interesting to compare. You know, there are differences in whites. Well, they look pretty similar, don't they? This one looks a bit more opaque. Could be just because it's newer. What is this called? Jolly difficult to read. Blanc écume. Écume. I don't know what that means. Any native French speakers? I do speak a little French, but I don't know about that. So, of course, I got that one. And, yeah, I'm interested to try it. I'm interested to try all of these. So, probably got about 6 weeks worth there, haven't I? And there are some others that I haven't tried that I've had in recent months because I haven't been doing my nails as much. So, there we go. I hope that's given you an idea if you're interested in these, and that you've got sufficient notice to try and nab them on the website. They usually trickle into the shops, if they're going to, a couple of weeks after the website, certainly in department stores. They often go into the boutiques at around the same time as they go on the website. I actually was at St Pancras, which is my nearest makeup Chanel boutique, the other day and they hadn't got them in, but they may have done now. So, yeah, the distribution's all over the shop at the moment. Anyway, don't they look a lovely pastel lineup? Just so pretty, I think. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, that you're all keeping safe. Do be careful while you're enjoying yourselves. That pesky COVID is on the rise again. Not as nasty as it was, but still pretty nasty for a couple of weeks. So you could do without it, believe you me. Take care. Don't get sunstroke. Don't get COVID. Have a lovely weekend, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.